I'm going to sneak in ahead of Dustin, beat him to the podium so I get to go first. My name is Karla Schmit. I'm the Assistant Director of the Pennsylvania Center for the Book. And we'd like to thank the Pennsylvania School Librarians Association for their co-sponsorship of this award. It's been in existence for 18 years now, and this is the 5th year that PSL has been involved. This year's jury consisted of Rebecca K. Dotlich from Indiana, Janice Dicer, who's sitting over the table here from PSLA, Carol Sibley from Minnesota, Sylvia Vardell from Texas, and Dustin Brackbill from the Pennsylvania School Librarians Association, who served as the SISH chair, and I'll turn it over for him to continue with the award.
Well, I've had the pleasure of spending the last year immersed in poetry. I literally measured myself last night when it came up to here. So it started out, I just get a couple boxes, a couple books, and then it would grow, and it would grow, and it would grow, and soon I wasn't sure what I was going to do with all these books. But they were wonderful, wonderful to explore, and I know the rest of my committee definitely loved every moment of it as well. I took them into school. Took me 3 trips from my car to school and shared them with the kids, and loved the experience of watching them interact with such a variety, such a depth, such unique books that they could explore. And so we talked about those. So, happy National Poetry Month, but I've had a poetry year and loved every moment of it. Eventually, of course, we had to whittle down this to this, and then that to this, and then, fortunately, down to these last few. And we are very pleased to have the same variety and the same depth and breadth in these selections, that we can really appreciate the wonderful poetry that's out there. So, there are 3 honor books in no particular order. The first one is A Curious Collection of Cats, which are concrete poems by Betsy Franco with wonderful illustrations by Michael Wirtz. And this is a chance to see how wonderfully illustrations and text can work together in this case. I will read one example from her work, which is called Rascal's Tongue. If you've ever attempted to lick your neck clean, I think you'll understand what I mean when I say my cat's tongue is especially long. Go ahead, lick your neck. Prove me wrong. Betsy was very pleased to know that we could interact with these poems this way. It's a nice recognition of concrete poetry. The next one is Crossing Stones by Helen Frost. She was last year's winner and this year's honor book with a very different approach. Crossing Stones takes the voice of 4 teenagers through the time of the First World War. And each voice is, of course, unique in dealing with their own emotions of what's happening during that time. I'm just going to capture one, which is Muriel, as she reads, Someone. The horses clip-clop down the road ahead of us, the fragrance of lilacs, then the sweet scent of skunk, the chorus of crickets and spring peepers. It's not often Frank and I are alone together, neither Emma nor Ollie with us. Frank clears his throat. Did you know, Muriel, that Ed and Howard enlisted yesterday? I say nothing. He goes on. John and Hal are planning to sign up next week. It's dark. Frank can't see me roll my eyes. The ants go marching is my only comment. The childish song is still singing itself in my head when we come home, and Frank holds out his hand to help me from the buggy, as if I were a fine lady, and he, Sir Galahad. And then, may I kiss you, Muriel? So gently asked, a sweet surprise. A kiss would change so much. I hesitate. Ordinarily, he says, I wouldn't be in such a hurry. You know me. I always take my time. But I've been trying to tell you, I'm going to France. I leave next Monday, and it sure would be nice to have a girl back home to write to. Someone waiting for me, someone to keep fighting for. A girl. Someone. He doesn't have time to choose, to court, to fall in love. And here I stand. It must seem easy, obvious. But, no, Frank, I answer. I can't do that for you. I'll be glad to write to you. You know we all will. Grace will keep sending those little drawings. We'll miss you. I'll miss you. More than I can say. I wish you wouldn't go. I wish no one would. Frank shakes his head. Am I confusing him? Has he planned how this should work? Get a girl, go to war, come home a hero, and get married? His smile fades. If I believed that one sweet kiss could bring it back, I might want to give him that small comfort. But no, Frank signed up for this. I didn't. It's not up to me to make it easier. Each poem is listed either in the shape of a stone, for the crossing stone, or in the shape of the stream that they cross to go back and forth between the two neighbors. Interesting title for sure. The next honor book is The Tree That Time Built, which is a celebration of nature, science, and imagination, compiled and selected by Mary Ann Hoberman. It's a delightful way to explore science with children. It's also a delightful way to teach poetry, because she does a great job of adding a glossary and descriptions and endnotes that help you understand what each poem is about and why she selected it. It has beautiful artwork throughout as well, with pencil work. And I have time to read. Oh, Helen Frost made a comment I wanted to add. I'm sorry. Thank you for honoring Crossing Stones and including this in the company of these beautiful books. I love this community centered around poetry, children, and the adults who share it. Thank you. Okay, there's The Tree That Time Built. And I'll have time just to read two short selections out of here. The first one is titled You and I, and it is by Mary Ann Hoberman. Only one in the whole wide world, and millions of you. But every you is an I to itself, and I am a you to you too. But if I am a you and you are an I, and the opposite also is true, it makes us both the same somehow, yet splits us each in two. It's more and more mysterious the more I think it through. Every you, everywhere in the world is an I, and every I in the world is a you. Ponder that. And one more short one, which I do enjoy, is called The Dodo. Oh, when the dodo flourished, what did the dodo do? The dodo had such stubby wings, the dodo never flew. Oh, when the dodo had his day, what was the dodo's plan? The dodo had such stumpy legs, the dodo never ran. The prey of human predators, a bird who couldn't soar, with all his brood pursued for food, the dodo is no more. And now, alas, the dodos read as simply something to be dead as. By Isabel Willman. With those excellent choices, we are also very pleased to have our award winner, and she is with us today as well. And her collection reminds me that my clothes speak to me. When I put on my favorite pair of shoes, when I slide on my favorite coat, sometimes when I listen really closely to my closet, it tells me what to wear, not just me choosing. And I'm delighted that in this book we get to hear their voices for the first time, perhaps, where we actually hear what the clothing would say to the characters, to the children. And it's wonderfully illustrated as well with some unique animals. So we will show you a couple, and I will be very pleased to introduce our award winner this year, who is Alice Schertle. We are delighted to recognize Alice with a check from the Lee Bennett Hopkins himself and the committee, and as well as a beautiful